Hello everybody. Yes, my name is Graham Osanda. I'm going to take you through today's market overview. So today's the first day of the week. We are on the 25th of March 2019. We're going to look at just all the pairs from the monthly point of view and see if there are any good trades that you can have for the week. So we'll start off with just the main pair, Euro USD, then move straight to the next one, which is GBP-USD here. Then we're going to go to USD JPY. Then we'll go to SP 500 before we move to Brent oil, and then last we're going to look at gold. So I'm not going to use the same charts I used last week. I'm going to load these charts afresh to see any good trades. Let's start off with Euro USD. Let me have it attached straight away on the screen. We have it here. Euro USD loaded. From the weekly point of view, this is what you have. So even before I say anything on this chart, the first thing I'm seeing is that there was a pin bar last week. There's a very big bearish pin bar that it actually opened somewhere here, went as high as this resistance. It went as high as this resistance, then came back and closed below, and also where it closed below was actually a key level. It closed somehow some very few pips around a key support. So as I mentioned, this is a key level. As long as the price does not close above 1.1442, we are still looking for a sell. Basically, from whatever is happening now, the upward move we are currently seeing, we expect that to be just a retracement. We want it to retrace back but should not go above this zone. So you want to trade this successfully, wait for price to pull back up, let it come back up to somewhere around this point, then pick a sell from that level and have your stop loss there. Then the take profit, the correct way should be here. So we are going to risk somewhere around how many pips this is. We want to risk somewhere around 100 for 869. You want to trade euros at the moment, just wait for a retracement back up, pick a sell from somewhere around here, have your stop loss, and then the take profit should be on the lower end, just as I've mentioned. So this view is only valid from the weekly point of view. If you look at the monthly chart, it's something else. On the monthly chart, we are actually bouncing off from a support, a resistance. There was a false break up, a resistance. We broke above a support, then it went up, then the same place is still being a support. So from the monthly point of view, this could still be a very good place to buy from. As much as we're looking for a sell from the weekly, there's a chance that the price may head up based on the monthly point of view. And from the same monthly chart, there's a level here. We have this trend line which has been holding for since 2007. We have this, a resistance. Then price went straight down, came back up, a resistance. Then it went down, came back, a resistance. Then it went down, and now we want price to come back and touch the same level. So far it has not been able to touch it based on the previous one, but we want it to come back up to this level. Something like this. Let price pull back up to this trend line. Let it come back up to this trend line. Then we'll be able to pick a sell from that point, and this is what we expect, that the price should proceed down like that, then retrace back slightly, and then continue even lower, something like this. Then it should retrace after breaking below 1.0518. Something like this, before we actually head even lower. So if you want to trade this chart correctly, on the monthly chart we are actually looking for a buy, but on the weekly there's a sell. So unless the price is below 1.1242 on the monthly chart, this is still a buy. We expect it to go up, let it come back up to this level, we'll pick a sell, expecting it to go up to the first line, the next one, and then the last one. We'll move to the next chart, and that should be GBP USD. Also, this one we're going to look at it from the monthly chart, weekly, sorry. The most important thing here is this: the previous week's candle is actually an inside continuation candle. This one, this is called inside bar. It also shows that the price is continuing. So previously there was an engulfing bearish candle, then it was followed by a bullish engulfing candle, then there's another bullish inside bar, also a pin bar. So all these two, this one, this candle, this bullish engulfing, and then the pin bar inside this one, all of them indicate the same thing, that the price is heading upwards. But there's a level here which price has to break above before it heads up. We have this as support, a good support there. There is also this one, we have that as a support. We have this one here as a support. Then price went below, it came back to the same resistance. The same place which is support now is a resistance. Then we also have this as a resistance. So for the past 2 weeks, there's a bullish engulfing candle, there's a bullish inside bar candle, but all of them are happening below 1.3303. We want price to close above this level to confirm that we are upward. So as it is at the moment, although the previous 2 weeks are showing us a buy, this could still go down. Before we buy, price has to move like that, then retrace back slightly like that, before we can say this is an upward move. As it is at the moment, this is still a sell. We still want to sell it from this, despite the fact that for a fortnight the price has been below this level. We still want price to clearly go above, retrace back before we can continue up to this level. So we are not going to look at it from another time frame. The weekly chart is much more clearer. Based on this level, it's much more clear. So we want to remain with that level. We are going to move instead to USDJPY, which is here from the weekly point of view. So the same lines we had previously, we had a level there, just a good support, a support. We had this as a support, as another support. Then there's also this as a support, and then we have this as a support, sorry. We have this one as a support, then there is this as a support. I also had another line at the top, which is here, a support there, and there is this as a resistance. I have this as a resistance, the entire place as a resistance. Then there's also this one as a very good resistance. Then we also had another line in between the two main lines, and this was a support, a resistance, sorry, which was broken, then a support. This is what we had previously. So basically we didn't expect price to close below this line 110.83 the way it did last week. We wanted price to close above this level so that you can continue up. As it is at the moment, something like this, like the price is likely to pull back up to this level, then head straight to this level, the week monthly support, or it may go straight to the lower side without retracing. So either way, when we bought it here, we were stopped out. We are waiting to buy again around 108.58. We want price to come back to this level so that you can buy it, expecting it to go up to the top. Ultimately, we want price to be at around 117.00, somewhere here, 117.92. If you bought it here but you're stopped, you can still buy it around 108.58. This is another level on the lower end here. So on USDJPY, we actually have, how many? These are like 5 levels. We have this, we have this one, we have this one, we have this one, and then the last one should be the top. Anytime the price approaches any of this line but does not break below or above, then expect a trade in the direction of that bounce. So we'll move straight to our next chart, and that should be SP500. So even before I looked at it last week, we actually looking for a buy on SP 500. We wanted to buy it from a level which it broke above there. Daily, we had our line there, and then I also added an indicator, 200 moving average. That's how it looks. According to this 200 moving average, we are now upwards. There was another one which was, just a second, envelopes, which is now showing us upwards. So how I do this line like this was that there was a resistance here. We had a resistance the first time, then price went down, it came back to the same resistance and was used as a very good sell place. Then price continued down, came back to the same place as a resistance, then it continued down and then came back to the same resistance, then there was a break above, then the first retracement, and we expected price, instead of going down the way it has done, we expected price to actually continue upward. So if you bought it here last week, you're supposed to be out by now because you are stopped by this candle. But don't forget, this is still a buy. The fact that the price actually has stopped you does not mean that it's a sell. This is still a buy. As long as the price remains above this level and also above this level, we are still upwards. After all, the indicator having on this chart, which is these envelopes, is showing us a very good buy. The price is bouncing off of it. We want price to pull back up, let it continue up slightly, then retrace back to the same level so that we can pick a buy at low risk. This is what we expect to happen. With that buy, we want price to go up to the top, up to somewhere around here. So basically, we are going to buy. We want price, let this green candle, the current red candle, let it close clearly. If it closes below, then we will remain flat. But if it closes green and above 2815.3, then we'll wait for a retracement back before we pick a buy towards this level. So this is the first time we bought this index and has stopped us out. We want to wait for it, retracement, then we pick a buy up to the top. So we'll move straight to the next chart, and that should be Brent oil. Here, Brent oil, from the weekly point of view, we are supposed to be looking for a sell. There's a level here. This is just a trend line which was broken, and then the price is now below it. A support here, a support. There is also a support there, and then there's one which I've skipped this one in between. Then the price went below, it came back the same level. So as long as the price does not go above this black line, we want to look for a sell. We're basically looking for a slight move up, then we'll pick a sell from that point up to the bottom, up to this level. So I'm not going to add much on this. The thing you're supposed to do now is to wait for price somewhere around where I've colored. Wait for price to get back up to this level. Let it come back up to somewhere in between the zone which I've marked. Then you'll sell it there with a take profit at 52.93. So we'll move to the next chart, and that should be gold. So on gold, I was also looking for a sell from last week. This is what I mentioned. There was a level here. Price successfully closed below it. There was a level there, and then there was also another level here. And I mentioned that you can see how price is breaking above and also below the same zone. Anytime the price breaks above, it breaks above with a big candle. Anytime it breaks below, it breaks below the big candle. Like there's a big break to the lower side, it remained. Then there's another big break to the upper side, then it remained on top. Then there's a break to the lower side, and now we are below the same place. So this is still a sell. Despite the move we saw last week, this big candle that headed up, this is still a sell. We want price to just give us a very good sell signal from the daily chart, then we'll be able to sell it from that point up to the lower end, up to that support. So if you sold it last week and currently the price is moving against you, just leave that position open as long as you've not been stopped. But if you are stopped, then you can still sell it around the previous week's highest high, which is here, 1320.81. that should be somewhere around here. So we are still waiting to sell it despite being stopped. We are still waiting to sell it somewhere there, and then there's also a level here where if price can get up to, then that will be the best place to actually sell from. Resistance, a resistance, there's a big break above, a support, a support, a support, a support. It broke below, came back up, went down. So if price can get back to this level here, then that will be the best place to sell from. That is going to be the ideal place to look for a sell from. And with that sell, you should have your stop loss above this level, above 1327.75. So that should bring us to the end of today's market overview. We've looked at Euro USD, where we've seen that the monthly chart there's a possible buy, but on the weekly we're looking at a sell based on last week's pin bar. Then GBP USD, there's a bullish inside bar, but there's a level which price has to close above before we can look for a buy. Then on USD/JPY, we want price to get back to 108.58. Then we'll pick a buy from that point up to the first target, the second target, and then the last one. So in case the price closes below 108.58, then we'll look for a sell up to the bottom, up to 104.70. Then SP500, we want to remain flat for today. We want the current day's candle to close either below or above so that we can look for a buy. Then Brent oil, there's a sell, but only if the price can get back to the zone which I've colored here. On gold, we are still looking for a sell, especially if the price can come back up to 1323.86. So thank you very much. See you again tomorrow at the same time.